I want to invoke your consciousness this morning to the construct of I am money. I am. Look at somebody and say, I am money. I am. Now, you can't want money and be afraid to talk about money. We're going to understand that money is not just this, the greenbacks or the currency that we carry. It's not just the euros that we acquire in Europe or the pounds in Great Britain, but currency is more than that. We're going to talk about it. Let me frame the case for this truth. Egypt, in its historical and biblical context, is a place in the minds of those that are chosen, called out, or delivered that reflects a construct and reality of bondage and oppression in every viable, visible, and invisible area of their lives. It reflects the historical and present-day concept of working very hard for little or no relevant money at all. We call this place Egypt. It reflects a generation that is more consumed about what it can spend rather than what it can save and invest. We call this space Egypt. It reflects a season, Bishop, in our lives in which freedom was not in our immediate grasp, ultimately producing the buzzword bitter outlook on life and the propensity to place external blame forever rather than take personal responsibility for your actions today. We call this space Egypt. Lest we forget that the Israelites, the Hebrews, were enslaved by their masters ultimately because of their perpetual disobedience to the universal laws established by God. Ultimately, we reap what we sow. Now, does this sound familiar to you even in today's society? Most of us who are being legitimately impacted by this recession, by subprime debt, by meltdown, what they're calling a $1 trillion meltdown, those who are being tremendously impacted are reaping the greed that they sowed 7 years ago. There was a lot of bankers that just became overextended, over-leveraged because they were not using the biblical principles of balanced finance. We call this place Egypt. We are a nation built on opportunity, yet we have once again become slaves to our debt, slaves to our subprime mortgages, slaves to the trappings of success with no experience of true success at all. Look at somebody and say, we call this place Egypt. We are master consumers using MasterCards to anesthetize the reality of our circumstances. We look good, but we don't feel good. It looks like fun, but is it really fun at all? It appears to be kingdom, but it is no more than the beautiful facade likened unto the architectural sets of some of our greatest movies like The Count of Monte Cristo, Rome, and Alexander the Great. It looks real, but it's a facade. It looks like the kingdom, but there is no kingdom connected to it. It looks blue bud, royal and majestic, but will never be paid for in our lifetimes. It mimics the appearance of the original kings and queens of Africa, but no true connection to their consciousness of ownership, land ownership, and legacy. We have accepted the facade of success, underwritten by an unbalanced message of prosperity. The results include a lifestyle with no legacy, communities with no development, community consumption but foreign ownership, and a church that teaches the trappings of prosperity, i.e. a new car, a depreciating asset, a big home subsidized with a subprime mortgage, and fresh new clothes underwritten with a 27% interest rate. This space we call Egypt.